Good evening, ladies and gents. Zojulix here, and we are back with Global Speedrun Association, Celeste, Any Percent League, and we're jumping right into the action between Flarebear SR and Archie Gaming's Marlin. This is definitely a race that you guys are going to be wanting to see, as Flarebear is looking to pick up his first win in this race as we get closer and closer to playoffs. Marlin being one of the top contenders of the league and the former Any Percent world record holder. So this is definitely something you guys are going to want to be paying attention to. But Flarebear is looking like he's going to have quite a climb if he is going to be able to pick up his first win in this league. And we are getting into a major point of crunch time for every single runner. As we get closer and closer to playoffs, these runners are going to need to do whatever they can to pick up wins. And oh, that is not the way to start off with it, Flarebear, as he misses the dash upwards and bonks his head, taking a death right off the bat. First death happening in City, giving Ultra Marlin a lead here in this race. Now, granted, there's still quite a bit of Celeste left to play, even coming out of City, but there is still just so especially when you have such a tough opponent like Marlin, you don't want to make these kind of mistakes. So Flarebear is going to have to already have an uphill climb if he is going to try and pull out a win here. And oh, Marlin missing the spike jump. Or not the spike jump, but well, kind of missing the dash into the spike jump, taking a death there. So that's going to be a 133 for Marlin and a 138 on the file timer for Flarebear. That's going to be a 5-second lead for Marlin as we come out of Forsaken City and head into Old Site. Old Site, you know, being one of the more, I consider one of the more technically challenging levels, as everything is so fast-paced when you get into the battle and chase, and then with the awake section where you just have such technical movement that just becomes so important to make sure that you land and snag as best as possible. And just because if you mess up on some of this technical movement, you can fall. Actually, you can lose quite a few seconds from it. Marlin now has entered the battle and chase. Flarebear trying to come up right behind him. Flarebear being a little slow on the cutscene skip there. Both runners are playing a pretty well battle and chase here. Marlin not making any notable mistakes here. Flarebear taking one death early on in the chapter, but seems to be able to clean himself up here, as Marlin now begins to move into the awake section. This section here is the one that I was talking about, where you just have such technical movement that you have to pay attention to. Marlin sitting at a pretty comfortable lead as he moves through the awake section. Playing very well right now, hitting a lot of these corner boosts and wave dashes. And he's able to have virtually a technically flawless awake section. Very, very good from him with a 319 on the file timer. With Flarebear trying to catch up right behind, but he's going, bouncing off the spring, losing his momentum. He's going to be about 20 seconds behind going into Celestial Resort. He's already got himself a lot of ground that he has to make up here going in to finish out this race. As you know, we're already done with 2 levels, but even still, the race has, in my opinion, still just began. Marlin kind of tripping up in the corner there, ends up having to take an entire different route, essentially, as he bonks into the books right off the bat and has to adjust how he played the rest of that screen. But he was able to do that very well. And so now Marlon continuing to move through the resort. Flarebear moving through the resort himself. Again, no major mistakes noted from either runners, just the one little bonk there from Marlon. Oh, and as I say that, Marlon ends up missing the coin, but is able to make a pretty decent adjustment as he continues to move through the rest of resort, as he's now finishing up the checking in section, making his way into the huge mess, where you see a lot of very technical movement in which Marlon is just flying through, playing it very well. As now Flair is looking to join him as soon as possible. And now Marlon making his way up, finishing up crates as hitting the bubble at a 5:05. He's got about 1 section lead on Flair. Flair is kind of struggling with the movement there in the huge mess, so that's going to play into a factor of the lead now that Marlon has. As now Flarebear is looking to hit the bubble here at a 5:29, so he's got about a 28-second deficit over Marlon right now. He's going to need to try and do what he can to catch up. 5:35 on the books bubble for Marlon. Flarebear is going to need to clean some things up and hope and pray that Marlon is able to make some mistakes here. As both of these runners making their way through. Flarebear just finishing up the last screen of books. 5:59 on the bubble for that. So at about a 24-second lead for Marlon as Flarebear enters Laundry. As Marlon finishes up Laundry at about a 6:05 bubble hit, but because I didn't quite see it, we're going to be going off this cutscene skip here at a 6:12 for Marlon entering the elevator shaft. And oh, Flarebear kind of missing the bubble initially on his dash. Excellent movement from Marlon as he enters the first attempt at demo dash, and he's not able to get it, and Marlon did not take the checkpoint, so that is going to make him lose so much time, but he's going to be going for it on his second attempt, and he misses it again. Marlon has already lost about 14 seconds here just from missing it twice. This is definitely something that Flarebear needs in order to make up some time. Third try on demo dash for Marlon, and he dies again in this room. Marlon has been falling apart here. This has given Flarebear an opportunity to catch up, but Flarebear takes a death on his first attempt at demo dash, and he takes a death on his second. Flarebear, you need to get this demo dash in order to make up time. Flarebear is able to make up a little bit of time over Marlon just because he took the checkpoint. Oh, and as I say that, Flarebear dashes himself into the Dust Bunny near the end of the screen, which makes him lose quite a bit of time. This is still just a race that's in Marlon's favor. And oh no, Flarebear not able to get his dash back on the extended hyper there, falling into the Dust Bunny. What originally started out as an opportunity for Flarebear to make up some time has now just become a way for Marlon to just continue to get ahead. Still able to get a sub-8 on that file timer with a 7:58 on the file for him. Coming out of resort for him. Flarebear now trying to do what he can to catch up, but lost so much. Like, Marlon lost a lot of time, but Flarebear too not able to get the first try demo dash, dying in the same room that Marlon did. End up making that time loss just fairly obsolete. And now Marlon's got himself a 34-second lead over Flair as he goes in, as we move into Golden Ridge. Marlon has just got total control over this room, over this race right now. Marlon able to complete the Archie. Like I said, if you're Flarebear, right now, I don't even know if Flarebear even has hopes of playoffs at this point. But just trying to do what he can to take some points off of Marlon and just try to win. Because right now, Marlon is in contention for that first place spot. Oh, Marlon taking a death on the berry strat is going to end up trying it again and is able to get it on his second try. And oh, not sure what happened there from Marlon, but oh, Marlon kind of tripping up a little bit. He's not able to get that. Oh, and he's able to neutral bounce his way up. What a save from Marlon. I thought for sure he was not going to be able to get that, but the neutral wall bounces to be able to reserve as much stamina as possible just allowed him to be able to make his way up there. That was absolutely insane save from Marlon. A great way to just save time and continue to move through. Again, the improv of any speed game, especially when you're in a league setting like this, sometimes the backups are more important than getting the initial strats, because you just never know if a strat is going to work for you, despite how many times you've practiced it. It is always so important to learn the backups and know what it is that you need to do in case the initial strat does not work out. And in that case, Marlon was able to back that up so well, which prevented such a bigger time loss than what could have happened. Marlon now entering the cliff face, kind of continuing to just assert his dominance in this race. Flarebear kind of struggling a little bit in a couple screens back, but is able to clean himself up a little bit, wipe the dirt off, and keep going. As now Flarebear is entering the cliff face as Marlon is finishing up on the on the last screen here of Golden Ridge. A 10:50 on the file timer. Very well done from him. And still wanting to highlight that amazing save that Marlon had. That is exactly what you needed. And like, he was able to just, the backups that showed up there was just the precise way to go about it. And the only other way that I could think of that would have made sense is just to take the retry and hope you stick. Flarebear now is over 30 seconds behind Marlon as we move through Mirror Temple. Marlon only a couple of screens away from Yeet. And he's able to get the cutscene skip. That teleports you right over the button. Marlon now going for Yeet. He's up and over. That is, oh, but he trips on the last block. But he still was able to get the corner boost, so I still would call that a full Yeet from Marlon. Very well done. As now we've got Flarebear coming up onto the cutscene skip. Not sure if he's going to be going for the tougher one or just taking the regular one. He does take the regular cutscene skip. A 12:04 on the file timer for Marlon. Flarebear not even gonna go for Yeet, has just decided, nope, it is not worth it. And he is just going to say, nope, I don't need no Yeet. I can go through and get the cassette tape just fine. As he is now collecting the cassette tape, but Marlon coming up on his first attempted Bubs drop. This could potentially score an opening, but I don't. Marlon's got it first try. I did not see any. Marlon just went through, was so clean with that, was able to just go straight up, finish out that Bubs drop, and now continue to make his way through the rest of 5B, looking to enter the mirror, kind of messing up his cycles a little bit as he trips up, but is able to improv that again very well. The backups coming in, being very, very important for every single one of these runners. Now, Flare Bear coming up on his first attempt at Bubs Drop. Hopefully being able to repeat Marlon. And he's not able to do it. Flare Bear does not complete his first attempt. That is going to be another huge deficit that Flare Bear you just cannot have. You cannot let Marlon run away with these races like this. Oh, but Marlon, in the last dash that he needed on the 5B fall, takes a death. Flare Bear able to get his Bubs Drop on his second try. But absolutely crazy to see a death like that coming from Marlon entering the mirror, because that is actually a pretty decently big time loss there. Oh, Marlon kind of going for a little bit of an unorthodox way for that, but I think that ends up being faster because you don't have to rely on the corner bounce off of that dash from the Seeker. Marlon now is in the Seeker Gauntlet. Oh, jumping on the one, but is able to just dash over, make it not a big deal for him. Able to throw Theo onto the last area and enter the... Only got a couple of screens left before he finishes up. He's now into the impossible room as Flare Bear is making his way through the mirror, trying to make his way up to start the Theo section. He's coming up on the tough screens himself, and oh no! Flare Bear not able to make it stick, and then he takes another death by the Seeker. And so now Flare Bear at a bigger deficit as we come out of 5B. Marlon has just ran away with this race with a 14:47 coming out of 5B. And Flare Bear entering the Seeker Gauntlet after 15 minutes. This race is just in Marlon's control. Flare Bear not able to get the button right away is going to end up giving enough time for the Seeker to respawn. An odd button hit from Flare Bear, but he's able to adapt to it pretty well. Flare Bear trying to just adapt his way out of this, and he's able to do so. Very well done from Flare Bear. Alright, Flare Bear now 15:48, wrapping up almost a minute behind Marlon right now. And Marlon is just not letting his foot off the gas. Oh, Marlon kind of tripped up a little bit there off of the Kevin block. Ooh, Flare Bear not able to get Lake Skip on his first try. Both of these runners making their way through the Hollows of Resort. None of them, neither of these runners are known to opt for the 6B. Just playing 6A, playing what they're comfortable with. Oh, not really sure what was happening there on Flare Bear's side. Not able to use the Kevin block the way that he wanted to. But is able to not have to take a death. Marlon is now coming up on the dev intended skips. With only one more screen until he does so. Marlon using the bumpers to his advantage. Taking 2 bumps from the bumpers and now making his way through. He's going swimming. Coming up on Battle and Boost here in just a little bit. But still, Marlon has just climbed his way, has just ran away with this race. Just dominating over Flare Bear. But, you know, I think at this point, if you're Flarebear, you just try and take whatever points you can. And, oh, Flarebear going, not sure if he was going for an Ultra or what exactly was happening, but he ended up dashing down and taking a death. And it looks like Flarebear is going to be opting for the bottom route here. A little bit unorthodox there. The only person who we saw do that was Programmatic in the last race. Not really sure what the reasoning for that was. Even still, Flarebear has made his way past Granny and is now making his way to the Dev-intended skips. And oh no! Flarebear ends up missing the one on the left. Oh my goodness, and he ends up falling and taking a death, falling into the spikes and not taking the checkpoint, so he takes a death there. But he is now finally going swimming, as Marlin is just cleanly playing this battle and fight. No major mistakes to be noted from him, as he's going to be entering the second round of the battle and fight here in just a little bit. On the first long fall screen. And now he is beginning his second round as Flarebear is beginning his fight. Again, just excellent gameplay coming from Marlin, and just doing all that he can to get as many points as possible and trying to be a contender for that first place spot. But he's going up against a lot of very, very good runners, and so to get that first place spot is not an easy feat at all. So now Flarebear kind of getting tripped up on the lasers, still kind of waiting the laser cycles out, playing it safe, not trying to risk a death, is able to get it. Marlin is now in the last screen of the battle and fight. And he wraps his fight up. Hits the level up and begins to make his way to wrap up his race in the summit. As now Flarebear still continuing to make his way through the rest of his battle and fight. 2034 on the file timer for Marlin, finishing up Reflection. Flarebear again still trying to do whatever he can to finish this up. He's on his first long fall screen, but he's got such a far time to try and catch up. He's beginning his second round as Marlin has entered the summit and is looking to make his way through to the final 3,000 meters of the run, finishing up. Flarebear taking a death on the second screen of the second round. Missed timing or didn't actually even get his hyper off and ended up falling and ended up going into the spikes. Marlin now wrapping up his 0 meters, doing an excellent job at moving through already. Great movement from him. Flarebear on the second to last screen of the battle and fight. Only a little bit left there as Flare kind of gets tripped up, but is able to improv his way out of it. Very well done from him. Marlin now making his way through 500 meters on the last screen of it, getting those battle and alley-oops as he makes his way up. Got a 22:18. That's almost a 2-minute lead for Marlin. This is a great position for Marlon to be in to snag a lot of points right now. Ooh, Marlon, not sure if he was going for a Dream Hyper there or not, or if he wanted the Ultra, but he was able to make that work. Flare Bear taking a death in that screen in 0 meters. Marlon now on his way to the last screen of 1,000 meters and finishing, heading into 1,500. Flare Bear not able to make this room connect for him, takes 2 deaths right away. But is able to wrap up his 0 meters and enter 500, as Marlon has already made his way through the first really long room and has got 1, 2 Ultra, 3. Oh no, on the last Dust Bunny, Marlon dies. Marlon kind of hung up there a little bit, but is able to improv it again. He's still stuck, but playing the Dust Bunny cycles is able to just make it work. As now Marlon wraps up his 1,500 meters and Flare Bear makes his way to finishing up his 500 meters. Marlon still just with a very, very commanding lead here. I still love just highlighting Marlon as how before the season had started, he came out of essentially, like, he came out of nowhere for people who follow full game runs versus ILs, but Marlon was just playing the ILs, grinding them hard, and then he comes through and qualifies himself, like, gives himself a good enough time for the qualifiers, and then in the qualifiers, he's able to just go out, dominate, winning every single match of the qualifiers, taking the any percent world record, and then comes through and just starts taking the competitive scene by storm. Oh no, Flare Bear skipping the cutscene too early and having to take a retry as he finishes up 1,000 meters. Now Marlon making his way through 2,500. And Flare being about 1,000 meters behind Marlon right now. They're just... Oh, Flare Bear taking another death as he ultra dashes into the Dust Bunny, having to now play the death cycle here. Marlon able to skip both doors, making his way to the final room of 2,500 and making his way now to the final 3,000 meters, the final 30 flags, looking to finish up his sprint and looking to just take command of this race even more and being able to snag so many points for him going into the last few weeks of playoffs. So as we go into the final stretches of the run, just wanting to let you guys know that if you guys are enjoying enjoying these races, be sure to make sure you give not only GSA a follow, but also every single one of the runners that you see throughout all of these races. And also too, if you guys also are enjoying these races, we come at you with Celeste action every Thursday night at 7 o'clock right now for at least the next couple of weeks. Flare Bear going for the auto-scroller skip. I'm not really sure. Okay. I didn't know if I could have respected that move, but he pulls it off expertly. making it look so easy where other runners who are above him in the standings don't even try to go for that trick. And he was able to easily snag that first try. So definitely Marlon still in the updraft section as Flare is finishing up his 2,000 meters. And Marlon definitely on a really good race pace right now. So again, make sure you guys check out everything GSA has to offer through both of their YouTube channels, Global Speedrun Association and Global Speedrun Association Tournaments. If you want to catch some of these matches or maybe you missed some, feel free to go back and watch all of them. You can check them all out on YouTube there, as well as you can watch our grand finals and playoff events from Season 1. Ooh, Flare taking another death there. Not exactly sure what happened. Looks like he missed a dash input and then dashed into a spike. As Marlon now is hitting up the last 5 flags of the run, while Flare is looking to finish up 2,500 for him and make his way to 3,000. He's threaded the needle. He's skipped 1 door. He's skipped 2 doors. Very good job, Flare. Oh, and as I say that, he hyper dashes into the spikes. I'm not sure if I'm commentators cursing Flare or not, but wow. Flare has some really good moments, and then he just dashes into some spikes. Alright, Marlon now finishing up his run with a 28.58 from him. Very good time. Excellent race time. That is exactly a race time you want to see, especially this late into the season. Very well done from him. GG's to Marlon, taking a win over Flare. And now Flare making his way and the final 25 flags, currently sitting at downdraft, trying to do what he can to snag some points, because these points are what he is going to need in order to just prevent Marlon from taking even more command over the leaderboards. So now Flare hitting the 30-minute mark as he finishes up downdraft and heads into updraft. He's got only 19 flags left to go. Odd tactic there from Flare, but he's able to keep himself alive. Now he's hit up flag 16, flag 15, coming up onto flag 14 and flag 13. Some of the more punishing flags that you can have while you are here. He's able to make it to flag 13. Flag 13 being another really tough and punishing flag if you do not do it right. But he is able to do it right and make his way up to flag 12. Now he's hit flag 10. Flare only a little bit left in his race here. Flag 7 for him. Only a little bit left in the run for Flare, trying to do what he can to snag some more points. But he's already lost quite a few, having a 20. Oh no! Flare missing the dash from the crystal and falls into the spikes, taking a death. He's now on to flag 3. Flare is gonna need to keep it moving. He only has a little bit of time left in order to get some points. If he starts messing some stuff up now, he's not going to be getting very many points for himself. Flarebear approaching the 32-minute mark as he hits flag 1. It looks like he's going to be getting either a 31.5x or a 32, and it looks like right now he's going to be able to command the 31.5x. He's going to be cutting it close, but he's able to get a 31.56. Very well done. 31.57. Okay, I was wrong. Very well done from him, but Marlon was able to take such a commanding lead with a 28.58. Very well done from Marlon, and a very clean win for him as he is able to snag quite a few points over Flarebear. I don't know what the full total conversion is. So with that, we're going to toss it over to, that will be the end of this race, and we're going to go ahead and toss it over to intermission. I'm not sure if this schedule is right, but my calendar says it's going to be Melee versus Flarebear again. So I'm assuming that's right. So I'm going to go ahead and just commit to it. So in a couple of minutes, we'll have Flarebear returning onto the screen to go up against Melee for his race. So we're going to toss it over to intermission, and you guys are going to want to stick around for that.